never had a scary experience hitchhiking except for that guy driving.
Yeah, well, it was just in the beginning.
Yeah.
Yes, it was okay. But once, I don't know, it was a bit, I don't know, maybe crazy, but like I was in Ireland, and I don't know, we were with the woman who get us to one way, and she said, yeah, you have to look at this one, it's very good, and you can do the round walking, and after I can take you back, and so why not? And finally we get our bags in the car, and I don't think we had something from her, maybe her number, but even I don't know if we had her number, cell phone number. So we went. It was a bit crazy. We should have taken an identity card, like to have a switch.
Yeah.
But finally she come back and it was okay. But after thinking, it was a bit okay. Maybe we should have done it like this.
Yeah. But leave all your bags in the car and then But she had no intention of taking anything. It's just
no. It was like I think maybe she was a bit crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she also wanted to make us visit the country, you know. She bring us to a nice place. We did some hiking.
Yeah.
And 1 hour after, she come back and get us to another place, and there we get another car.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was good, but it was a bit like after she went for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
We were maybe she has other stuff, and that's the better way we had.
Yeah.
So we wasn't really enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
But it was okay. Finally, it was good.
Yeah. The scariest for me is I was in Arkansas, United States, kind of southeastern, and I was setting up I guess it isn't really hitchhiking, but I got dropped off there hitchhiking next to a river in Arkansas, and I was setting up my tent on stream, and a car pulled up at night while I was setting up, so I turned off my light because I didn't know why they were there, so I'm like, I'll just wait this out and see why they're here. So I waited a couple minutes, and I just saw the car headlights, and then bang, gunshot in my direction, and I'm like, you can tell it's your direction based on how it kind of sounds, and I'm like, that's not good. But I made the judgment call that he didn't know I was there, and therefore he wasn't trying to shoot at me, but he was shooting at me. So I turned on my headlamp and I called out, and I'm like, whoa, and then he stopped shooting, and I walked over there, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he just bought a new gun and was testing it out, shooting at a sign, and I was right behind that sign, setting up my tent. And then he shot off, 20 more rounds into the sign, or at the sign, and then offered me some marijuana, and then I said no because I don't smoke weed, and then he got in his car and drove off, and then I went back and slept. But that was, I didn't like that. Didn't like that one. You might notice a trend. Most of my weird experiences are stranger occurrences were in the United States. Guy picked me up in Oklahoma, and we drove past the prison, and he told me he did some time in the prison, so I'm like, okay, did some time in the prison, cool. And then we got to talking about prison a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I did, I think it was 38 years. 38 years in prison. And I'm like, oh, okay. I already kind of put the picture, kind of knew what happened a little bit. I'm like, if you don't mind me asking, what did you do to end up in prison for 38 years? And he's like, shot my nephew for stealing something from his brother. oh, good times.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, but a person like that, I didn't feel threatened by them. I'm just like, oh, you've done some interesting things in the past. And that's quite an uncommon occurrence. Like, I've been picked up in my life about 1,200 times hitchhiking, and it's been a very small number where anything like that noteworthy has happened.
Yeah, it's okay.
And did you ever get talked to by the police while hitchhiking?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
They're okay. Is it, well, less so in Europe, but in North America, Canada, United States, the police will come by and they'll check you out, check your documents, make sure everything's in order, make sure you're not drunk.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and then I got detained in Japan by the police
Oh, yeah.
because I got dropped off in a spot I wasn't supposed to be.
Ah.
Some of my bad.
Yeah, well, you cannot always know it.
Yeah, I didn't know the rules that much there, and then I got dropped off there because of a language barrier, kind of. So it's, but no tickets. Like, I wasn't ever arrested. I just couldn't leave. They took me to the highway patrol office, and they didn't know where to take me, what to do with me. So I just stayed there for the better part of the day. How hot it usually is in Marseille this time of year?
What?
Like what the normal temperature is?
I don't know. Like where I'm living, it's more like at night can be minus. The most we had was -7.
Yeah.
But it was like 1 month ago.
Yeah.
But usually it's like maybe -2, something like this, like a bit of ice on the car, but
Okay.
not much. But also I'm not in the better place for temperature. Like I'm a bit in the how to say, not the mountain, but company.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe in Marseille is maybe hotter than this.
Yeah. Because well, this trip has been on the kind of colder, dreary side of things. But I'm like, maybe if I head south, it'll be a little warmer for a bit.
Yeah, maybe a bit, but not so. Maybe, well, today is a good day.
Yeah.
Yesterday it was raining a bit, I think. Or before yesterday.
Yeah. are you into?
I listen a lot of reggae.
Reggae? Yeah.
But after, I like to listen a bit of everything.
Okay.
But even a bit some rap sometimes. Depends on the rap.
Mm.
I also like African music.
Oh yeah. Do you play any music yourself?
In school it's easy to start some instrument, but I didn't get really the time to do it. I was more doing associations. But, maybe I want to do some. I want to do some trombone, but I need to find
trombone.
Yeah, trombone.
Okay. Yeah.
I need to find some time.
Yeah.
And maybe some teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but it's an instrument which is which interests me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be.
It's a bit. I would have liked to learn more music when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I did some djembe. Like it's something where.
Oh yeah.
It's a bit African. I did a bit of this, but not much more.
Mm-hmm.
Now I think maybe if we had learned the solfege, it's music. How do you read music and
Oh yeah.
all this stuff? Maybe it would be easier now to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I will do it.
Yeah. Trombone's an interesting choice.
Yeah, but I think it's not even easier because I don't know why I'm interested in this one, but
Yeah.
the thing is it's complicated too because it's different sounds. You do it with the mouth,
Mm-hmm.
and after like to have some differentiation, it's with the slider.
Yeah.
But there's no marks to know where it is. So
You just have to know.
you have yourself marks. But it's not good. I don't know. In the school we have like a band. It's a very, very good one, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving a lot of how to say this? It's living, like sometimes it's music with a DJ and sometimes music with a band.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Are you doing some music?
Do I
Yeah.
play?
Yeah.
Not really anymore. I used to play the guitar a bit because it was a elective course in high school, which was nice. But since I've been an adult, not really. I have a harmonica, but I just haven't started learning it because it's very lightweight and compact, so it's easy to bring one with you. So you have an instrument that doesn't take up much space, but yeah, haven't done that. One of those things that you always put off. You're like, oh, I should do that. I'd like to do that, but then I don't do that. Has this motorway been here for a long time?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'm just, as we drive through, I occasionally see like a small house, close, like really old, like something house next to the highway. I'm like, they were probably pissed off when they put this road through here.
But I don't know. Some places it's way more than maybe around cities.
Yeah.
It's not so nice. Even at my place where I'm living, there's a motorway, but because we're a bit higher than it, you can hear it.
Yeah.
It's not well. Now we are a bit used to it, but it's not so. Like you want to be in a quiet place and you hear the motorway.
Exactly. Because like if you live out here, you're pretty far away from any major town or city, but you've got like living right there. You've got 6 lanes of motorway.
Yeah, and even the pollution is not so.
Yeah.
All the cars which are going on it, I think it's crazy.
Yeah. Like, it's very common that wherever I end up camping for the night is within, like 100 meters of a major motorway like this. So I'm very much used to the sound of just constant traffic as well.
Yeah, and even at night there's a lot of people.
Yeah. Are you more of a beer, wine, or spirits drinker?
Maybe one of three.
All of them? At the same time?
I really like beer.
Yeah.
Most of local beer.
Okay.
Like I have some friends which are doing themselves beer.
Yeah.
So, and I did some a bit with these two friends. So it's nice to do it.
Mm-hmm. And it was good? It turned out?
Yeah. We have one guy which is doing like maybe 40 liters
Oh yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
But it's a little. He does it like maybe once a month. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I have another one who's like he wants to do it like really now, and he wants to do it. He wants to put the seat in the car and to grow it.
Oh, from scratch for okay.
Like very local beer.
Yeah.
And he does right now. He's doing 150 liters every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good start.
Is it just for himself and friends?
No,
He's-
but
you're yourself?
for now he does it like this.
Yeah.
But he wants to sell it. And if you want to sell it, it's a bit more complicated because you have to
Yeah.
all the certifications. And
Yeah.
it's not so easy. But
And has he managed to sell it legally or?
yeah, now he
you-
wants to do it. He's doing from like a school, 1 year school,
Yeah.
like to learn the stuff about agriculture and brewing.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has to do 1 year now, I think.
Yeah.
And after he's going to sell it.
This road has the weirdest lines. It's just got lines everywhere.
Else I'm doing some rum with fruits, like I'm mixing
Oh,
it,
yeah.
and I'm giving it for like I don't know, 1 year, maybe 2 years.
Okay, yeah.
Like it takes the flavors.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting, but sometimes
So you're doing that right now?
yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm doing it, but it's a long way. Like you do it one now, and maybe you will drink it in 2 years.
Okay, yeah. So it's a long-term
Yeah.
kind
But
of.
sometimes you taste it and you see what is good, what is not good, and maybe you do something else.
Is it going good?
Yeah. At the first time I did some really good ones. Now I'm doing other stuff, but workout, but not everything.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you can see how different flavors go or not show it.
Yeah. Have you had any of your beer or wine turn out really poorly? It's just like, what happened here?
Yeah, once I did something. I think it was something like pamplemousse.
Okay,
And it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
good. So I put some cannelle, and it was good after, but it was a bit like easy to make it like to get it back to
Yeah.
something drinkable.
Yeah, yeah. And what was wrong with it? It was,
I think it was a bit too bitter,
yeah.
and I don't know, too bitter, and the pamplemousse wasn't I don't know. And with the rum, it wasn't really good together.
Yeah. And have you ever done any spirits? Like distilled?
No, still I didn't.
No.
It's you have to get some stuff
Like
yeah,
to distill it with, yeah, yeah.
Also before, because you have to get all the fruits and let them in a big barrel.
Yeah.
Get some organization.
What type of spirits do you like though?
I think mostly I drink some rum
Rum, yeah.
after.
White or spiced?
What?
Like a clear rum or spiced darker rum?
Depends. Maybe both.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and some pasties.
What's that?
It's an anise flavor alcohol.
Okay.
It's one is very famous in Marseille.
Mhm.
It's coming from there. Then there's other ones, but
Okay.
not everyone likes it because it's very strong and anise.
Mhm.
But you just mix it with some water. And it's okay. When we were in Ireland, it was funny because in every town we tried some different beers.
Mhm.
It's a good place to go. If you like beer, it's a good place to try some.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think I drank the most beer in Ireland, and any other country I've been on this trip. Just a lot of
not
beer.
so expensive too.
Yeah. What if you go out for a beer? How much does it usually cost?
In France,
Yeah.
in the bar, I think it's like for a pint, I think it's between 6 and 8 euros.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty pricey.
Difference. Depends what of type, what of beer type it is.
Yeah. The person you're picking up in Lyon, is there a specific time you're supposed to be there, or is it?
Well, something like right on the application is 10 past 4,
4?
and I sent a message. I said it was maybe 4, maybe 4.5.
Okay.
I think we'll be there for. I'm not driving at like 130, so I thought it was maybe a bit longer, but finally it's almost the same time.
Yeah.
I think they are counting some big breaks.
Does this car do 130 pretty good, or is it start?
Yeah, in the other way, I did a bit more 130.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go. Because I left after the job, so I got 5 from the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I came in Vittel in 2 in the morning. So I didn't want it to go so late. But I don't think it changed a lot.
More gas, yeah. It's a good drive, 130, yeah. A6 up here. A6 goes to Paris, right? If you go.
I don't.
Goes northwest.
I don't know if it's the same one going to Paris or to Nancy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe it splits, but it's too different after.
Yeah.
I think. And after it becomes A7 after Lyon, I think.
Okay.
Ireland, but
yeah, Ireland's up there. I tell people my other favorite countries I hitchhiked in were Croatia and Japan, but like Croatia's because of a specific like experience there. I got picked up by a guy that owned a hotel restaurant and a bar. I ended up just staying there. He let me crash in the hotel, drink from the bar, eat from the restaurant. I just helped drafting beers for like 2 weeks, so it isn't in the middle of an 8-month trip, so it was like a great experience because it was a nice break right in the middle. But for just speed and friendliness of hitchhiking, Iceland was really good.
Iceland is near Greenland.
Yeah, it's kind of like halfway, or just over halfway between like say Ireland and Greenland.
Okay. Nice.
So Iceland was really
Nice
good.
people there?
Yeah, so both the locals and the tourists there. Most of the time when I'm hitchhiking, it's not common for tourists to pick me up. They're doing their own thing and they don't really pick up hitchhikers. But in Iceland, the type of people that go there are like into doing stuff outdoors. They're there to go hiking, and they just seem more open to what I'm doing and picking up hitchhikers and stuff. But then also local people there were very open towards.
It's a bit expensive, no?
It is expensive, but when you hitchhike and then you sleep in a tent, it cuts out 2 of your major costs: your transportation and accommodation, and that's just food and entertainment, incidentals.
Yeah, because I think it's a nice country. I want to go there,
But it is pricey. You can get there quite cheap because there's lots of low-cost carrier airline like EasyJet, stuff like that. They all fly there, and you can get there round trip for quite cheap. But once you are there, prices are fairly high. So Iceland's good. Japan was surprisingly good for hitchhiking once you got onto the highway. Getting out of a city sometimes can be a bit slower, a bit more difficult. So you have to try and find someone getting onto the toll highway. But once you're on it, you try and hop from service station to service station. So before someone exits the highway, you get them to drop you off at a gas station or a service station on the side. And you can hop rides pretty quickly, pretty easily. So that worked pretty well. Also be fast. Like on this trip, surprisingly, for a lot of people, England and Scotland were quite fast, especially in more rural areas. I got lifts quite quickly. Anytime you're on an island, things seem to go fast. So in England, went to the Isle of Wight, a small island on the south coast. Super fast hitchhiking. Back in 2015 when I did Orkney Island, Shetland Island. Plane. Yeah. It was very fast hitchhiking on those islands. Whenever I see planes like that, I got picked up by a pilot in the United States, a private pilot. He does other stuff for his job. He's a private pilot, and he taught me how to hitchhike on airplanes and gave me a flight ride in his airplane. Now whenever I see planes like that, I'm like, I want to go to that airport and see if there's traffic flying anywhere.
Was it a good airplane?
I've only ever done it in the United States, but I've done it on 5 airplanes now. And it's always small, like mostly single engine Cessna, 1 twin engine King Air 250. It's a bit, but it's never a jet. That's the dream.
I did it once with a friend. We went from 2 hours. It was very nice.
Your friend had a plane, or?
He was renting one,
Oh yeah.
but he had done all the stuff for being a pilot. Yeah. But I don't know how you, because I know there's some I know you can do some like carpooling, but with a plane.
Yep.
I think if this is possible. But like checking, I don't know. Plane hiking?
Oh yeah. So yeah, essentially, like you go to small airports where people that have smaller airplanes are flying out of, and you just talk to everyone, and you try to essentially network your way onto a plane.
Yeah.
So if you tell someone what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and they find it interesting, they might, if they own the plane or if they have the authority to let you on the plane, then they might just take you. You get a lot of no's before you get a yes. So. Do you like flying?
Yes. I think it's a great sensation.
Yeah.
It's even better than in the little one.
You feel much more intimately in the air. It's
we did some. We let us a bit of the way.
Oh yeah.
The landing is very impressive when you land because with your feet you are braking.
Yeah.
And on each feet you have one braking.
Oh yeah.
So you have to adjust your braking.
Mm.
Because if you brake only on once, it's going like to turn on the right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
It was very funny. We went from Albi near Toulouse.
Yep.
And we went to the Pyrenees. That's very nice.
Was your friend, was he trying to become a commercial pilot?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
now he's commercial.
Oh, he is, yeah. For
I didn't say that.
it helps to know someone in the industry.
Yeah. Sure. But after it's like one company maybe. I don't know how many companies exist. Did you do some boat?
Hitchhiking?
Yeah.
Once across a lake in Ireland, and then I've hitchhiked on ferries where, like, if you walked on, you'd pay as a walk-on passenger, but if you hitchhike onto someone's car, the ferries where they pay per car, not per passenger, so you can kind of hitch on those types of ferries. So Dover to Calais was one of those.
Okay.
So I hitchhiked that rather than paying. But I've never hitchhiked across like a private vessel across the ocean. I know people have done it before, like they'll go to popular ports, like say in Portugal, and find someone that's going to say, Caribbean or Florida or something. That's kind of a goal, maybe one day.
Yeah.
I've never sailed before, so I'd have to have someone that would be willing to take me on and kind of show me, because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah. And usually they take someone because they want to share the shifts.
Yeah. They want your help with several things, including like keeping watch and everything.
Yeah, because when you're driving, it's like night and day. So
Yeah.
you're gonna stop like this. And now you can wait 2 hours, but after it can be complicated.
Yeah. And you, any boats?
But I would like to go like to South America like this.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I wanted to go like this when I did my year off, but I didn't have so much time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to do it for the next time.
Yeah.
Well, after you can, the only thing is that you can fall on someone which is not so interesting, or maybe even a bit authoritative, or it's not really like you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be a bit complicated. Like this. I don't know how long it is, maybe 1 month traveling. So it can be complicated if you don't find a good person.
Yeah. Because it's quite a commitment for someone to take you on.
Yeah.
It's not picking up someone in your car where it's like max a few hours usually.
Yeah.
On a boat, it's like a couple weeks.
Yeah. Do you know how much is your budget for traveling? Because like I'm asking myself the question.
Yeah.
Like, how expensive is it really to do hitchhiking?
In Europe or where?
No.
Because it depends where you
Yeah,
are.
for sure.
And then it depends how you want your lifestyle to be. If you're never paying for accommodation, then that's a big savings. So if you're paying for or sleeping in a tent and free camping every night, or avoiding paying something to sleep, then you save a ton of money. Just like hitchhiking saves money. So then you've got food, and you can cut down your food expense as much as you really want to. And if you're cooking your own food, you can cut it down to quite a minimal amount per day. Like you can eat, if you're cooking your own food, you can eat pretty well on $5 a day. And then that's your biggest expense because, well, transportation's free, accommodation's free. So if you're spending $5 a day, then you're only spending $150 a month. It's more frugal. Podcast I eat less a day. Just close to the same in euros. I think it's maybe 10 or 10 euros. Anyway, that includes averaging in my flights that I took on that trip. My visa for Russia, which was 200 euros. Drinking at Oktoberfest, so a few more expensive things. But $300 something a month.
Yeah, it's
So it's, if I'm traveling like that, it's much cheaper for me to travel than it is for me to actually be somewhere paying rent and living a normal life.
At one point, I didn't really know that I would work in the same company I'm working now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
like seeing friends and like hitchhike and go friends to friends.
Mm-hmm.
So, maybe later.
Yeah, you can do it for quite cheap. Like
Yeah.
I think the worst part of hitchhiking is if you have any kind of schedule you're trying to keep to, it's not the best because
No.
hitchhiking is random. It's like you can't plan it too much. And the only times I haven't liked hitchhiking is when I have to be somewhere and things are going a little bit slow, and then you start to get like on edge, a little stressed because you're like, why isn't someone picking me up? Usually I don't care. I can stand there for a couple hours and I'm like, that's fine. That's just the way it goes. But when you have to be somewhere, you're like, come on, let's go, let's go, let's go.
And so the size of your bag is not too big sometimes in the car.
No, you usually can make it fit. It's 60 liters,
Yeah.
which isn't like it's big, but it's not crazy. Like, yeah. Most people, like, since I'm traveling solo, it's not too bad. It's just me in a bag
Yeah.
rather than two people and two bags and
Yeah.
everything. But I have had it before where my bag's on my lap with me in the front seat or the back seat.